What the heck was that yesterday? It's time to bounce back. Let's talk some baseball. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back in to another episode for Just a Bet Outside. I am your host, Steven, and that sucked. It did. That was brutal. These days happen all the time. If you're new to betting baseball, you're betting 162 games. You're gonna have bad days. Today was absolutely humbling. I was reading the board really well. We were on a nice run. I think it was 10-4, and then today hit. And we're gonna go over that recap in a bit. But just want to remind you, baseball in the first few months or just all season long is one of the most unpredictable sports. And there's going to be days like this. This is why unit management or bankroll management is key. A lot of people ask me, why do you keep doing so many half unit plays and all that? Well, because have you seen some people that just bet 1 to 2 units on every single play? It doesn't usually turn out very well. Baseball is absolutely tough. But you know what? That's the challenge, and that's what we love about it. That's why I love the sport of baseball with how unpredictable it is. But either way, that's my little ramble. We'll go over every single bet and see what was a good read and all that. But quick reminder, the NBA Finals is finally here, and that best bets video is out now. I give 2 series best bets and 3 best bets for game 1, so be sure to check it out. But of course, any graphics you see in this video are from OUTLIER, the best betting research tool on the market today. Click that link below. You get a 7-day free trial. So let's get into it. I got an MLB fun fact, so here we go. It's recent. Even though the Rockies just doubled their win total in Miami, not really, but they did sweep them, they are still on pace to break the record for the worst run differential in MLB history. Not just break it either, they're actually on pace to destroy it. On pace for a minus 494 run differential. There's a record held by the 1932 Red Sox with a minus 345 run differential. Again, not even close. It's insane what we're seeing there. And imagine being a Miami fan when you get swept by the Colorado Rockies. But anyways, in this video, we're going to recap that bad day yesterday we had that cooled us off. But then we'll go over the good and bad hitter matchups. And it's Thursday. We're going to talk who's on fire. Hitters on fire in the last 7 days. Give you the best pitcher strikeout matchups. And, of course, go over the full pitcher report and end it with the best bets and the recap. So hit that like button if you haven't already. Leave a comment below to help this channel continue to grow. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. We are on our way to 40,000 subscribers. It's time for a bounce back, but first, let's get to the recap. All right, like we do every day, we got to recap it. Unfortunately, today cooled us off big time. Nick Pivetta over 5.5 Ks. He hooked us. He had 5 Ks. I think it was like through 65 pitches. Things were looking okay. He got pulled at 82, 83 pitches. I know it was the 7th inning, but he got pulled early. I'm shocked. And guess what? The bullpen gave it up and blew it. Because, well, I don't know, maybe they came back and won, but they gave it up. They've been a terrible bullpen. Why are you pulling Pivetta? 82 pitches. He had an 0-2 count, ready to go. There it is. Give me strike 3. We cash. He throws a fastball, letter high, hit for a base hit, and he gets taken out. It just is what it is. K-props have been all over the place. And speaking of that, Chris Sale under 6.5 Ks, he told me to absolutely shove it. He just did. I was mad about one caller, and it didn't matter. He had 1 million strikeouts. Just a bad read. He had 4 the first time against Arizona, and then they couldn't hit him to save their freaking life. But tip of the cap to Chris Sale. And then the team total parlay, guess what? None of them hit. I mean, if I'm going to have both hit, not hit, might as well do it all in one. Brewers team total started us off with 6 runs, getting the 6th run in the 8th inning. They hit Andrew Abbott. Why? Easy answer. It was a day game. Those are absolutely bizarre. And then the Phillies couldn't hit anyways. They got 1 run, so it didn't matter. And then Lawrence Butler and Freddie Freeman. I have massive trust issues with hit parlays, guys. I don't understand it. I have taken hot hitters, superstar hitters. It doesn't matter. Lawrence Butler gets a hit, but guess what? Freddie Freeman, I'm waiting all night. Okay, he's got 1 more at bat in the 8th inning. Let's get this. What do they do down 6-0? They absolutely give up like an NBA team, and he gets pinch hit for with a guy on base by Miguel Rojas because they just wanted to give him an inning break because, you know, swinging a bat and standing at first base for another inning is really difficult. I'm frustrated. Maybe he doesn't get the hit anyways, but it's just one of those types of days. So some bad reads, some bad luck, and this kind of stuff will happen. So we got back to even, and now we're down 2.2 units, 150 and 148 overall with the entire breakdown. That's what I got for the recap. Now let's talk the hitter matchups. All right, here are the good hitter matchups for the day. You're going to see a lot of Phillies on here. We'll talk about that later, but you go Castellanos, Schwarber, Realmuto, Turner, Brandon Marsh, just a ton of them that have had success off of Basset Hound. Other than that, you know, we got Miguel Rojas, who just pinch hit Freddie Freeman, 7 for 16 with a home run off David Peterson. Austin Riley down there, 3 for 8. Over there on the right side, though, you see Marcell Ozuna, 4 for 8 with a home run off Brandon Pfaadt. Teoscar Hernandez, Dubon, 4 for 7. Some decent good hitter matchups today. So take a screenshot. Hopefully these help you get some winners every day. Now let's look at the bad hitter matchups, and we got 8 of those for you. Also a couple Phillies here. Alec Boehm 2 for 15, only 1 strikeout though. Bryson Stott 2 for 12 with 4, and then Bryce Harper 1 for 11 with 4 Ks, which is really surprising to me. But Mike Yastrzemski, how about 0 for 11 with 8 Ks? That is not good. He does not like facing Dylan Cease. Even Shohei has struggled against David Peterson. Then Christian Walker 1 for 11 off of Mitch Keller. So that's what we got for the hitter matchups. Now let's talk who's on fire. All right, if you're new to the channel, we do this once a week. We talk hitters on fire in the last 7 days. You have to have a minimum of 20 at-bats, and you have to be hitting 340 or higher to make this list, just to kind of help you out. Hey, here's the bats around the league that are swinging it well, help you out with some bets and things like that. But Jackson Chourio, 429 with 8 ribbies up there. So hopefully this can maybe help you out with some RBI props too. But other than that, we just got a ton of good hitters. Ernie Clement down there hitting 500s, the highest on this page, with 2 home runs and 6 RBIs. Jeremy Pena right there at 455. And then you go back up to the top, you see Christian Yelich hitting 458 with 3 bombs in the last 7 days, including one of those being a walk-off. And it is nice to see the man on the bottom, Mike Trout. That's right, he is finally back on this list. 476 in the last 7 days with 5 RBIs. So that's what we got for page 1. Take a screenshot. Now let's check out page 2. And we only got 4 of them. Jacob Wilson is an absolute hitting machine. He's an unbelievable rookie. 381. Junior Caminero is crushing it, guys. 4 bombs and 12 ribbies with a 400 average. It's just insane. And then Freddie Freeman, whatever. He's not my friend today. Francisco Lindor, 450 with 4 bombs and 5 ribbies. Yes, 4 bombs with 5 ribbies. 3 of those are solo. I just did the math. But either way, that's what we got for the hitters on fire in the last 7 days. Now let's talk some strikeouts. All right, we got one good pitcher strikeout matchup, and we'll go over some other pitchers after this. But Cole Reagan's at the Cardinals. It's kind of a borderline one for me. St. Louis, 11th highest K rate versus lefties at 22%. Reagan's a K machine, 72 Ks in 45.2 innings. In fact, he has 7 or more strikeouts in 7 of the last 8. But in reality, he has 7+ strikeouts in 7 straight, because one of those was a rain delay. He only threw 3 innings. That was the under. Higher K rate on the road, 40.6% compared to at home, 36.1. It does not matter. He just strikes out a lot of guys. Much higher K rate versus righties, which is a little surprising. 42.3%. That is very high. Compared to lefties, 25.9%. And I mentioned those kind of things in case the guy's facing, a righty-heavy lineup, lefty-heavy lineup, and things like that. But possible pitch count limitations. This is the one worry here. This is why I don't, it's kind of a borderline for me, but it's his first start after having 3 weeks off with an injury. So just something to keep in mind there. But other high key pitchers, in case you're wondering why they're not on here, Jesus Luzardo is facing the Jays. Blue Jays, 2nd lowest K rate versus lefties last 3 weeks. They're in the bottom 5 down there all season long. So that's a tough matchup. Dylan Cease at the Giants. Giants 16th highest K rate versus righties last 3 weeks, 20.3%. That was a borderline. It was pretty close. And then Robbie Ray versus the Padres. San Diego, the 3rd lowest K rate versus lefties last 3 weeks at 19.3%. Again, all of them, one of them, whatever. They could all go over their K, whatever their line is, of course. But just want to point that out that they do have some tougher matchups here. So that's what we got for the strikeout matchups. Now let's take a look at the pitcher report. All right, here are the first 8 matchups of the day. And we start out with Brandon Pfaadt versus Grant Holmes. Pfaadt, his sucking last start means he should be rested here. That's right. He was able to give up 6 hits, 8 earned runs on just 31 pitches and get 0 outs. It was atrocious. But like I said, he's going to be rested. And then Grant Holmes, Sherlock's brother, been good lately. 9 hits, 3 earned runs, and 11 Ks in the last 2 starts. 13 innings versus Boston and San Diego. So been pretty solid. Been surprised what I've seen from him this year, to be honest with you. Casey Mize for the Tigers. 3rd start in return from injury, just threw 77 and 79 pitches, so obviously not fully stretched out yet. Gave up 4 earned runs and 12 hits in 8.1 innings. Going up against Sean Burke, let's be honest, he's been pretty good. 4.2 ERA, expected ERA of 5, not great, but done a decent job when he has his command, almost a 12% walk rate. He's had 9 solid starts and 3 bad ones, that's for sure. And then Jesus Luzardo versus Basset Hound. We're going to talk about this one a little bit more later. And then Uber Eats is facing TBD. I lean Uber Eats on that one, but really 3 or lesser in runs allowed in 11 straight starts for Aubert. It's been impressive. He is giving his team a chance to win. And then we got Zach Eflin on the mound going up against Brian Wu and my struggling Seattle Mariners. Eflin, great bounce back start versus the White Sox last time, but he'd given up 12 earned runs in the 2 starts prior. And Wu, he's gone 6+ innings in all 11 starts. He's the only starter in the major leagues to do that, I believe, unless Max Fried did it. I don't remember. But either way, he's going deep into games. And he's been doing well as with that 2.82 ERA. Then Dylan Cease versus Robbie Ray. We know what Cease can do. He has the ability to dominate, and he also has the ability to give up some hits. He has a 29% K rate going up against Robbie Ray. These are two of the best strikeout pitchers on the slate today. Ray, he was better in May, 3.71 ERA and 2.08 average against. K rate was 31% in May. That's not too shabby. And then we got David Peterson facing Landon Knack. Peterson just faced the Dodgers last start, gave up 2 earned runs in 7.2 innings with 7 Ks. And then Landon Knack has a 4.58 ERA. 2 great starts back to back, though, against both New York teams. 12 innings, 9 hits, and 2 earned runs allowed. And just FYI, I just said Robbie Ray was better in May. I did not mean that. I meant Dylan Cease was better in May. What I just gave out was not Robbie Ray, it was Dylan Cease. 3.71 ERA, a 2.08 average against, K rate of 31% in May for Dylan Cease. I mentioned that because he had a tough start to the season. Robbie Ray's been pretty solid all year. But anyways, just want to point that out. All the averages are on the bottom. So hopefully that helps you get some winners. Now let's move on to page 2. And we got Framber Valdez versus Mitch Keller. Valdez coming off a complete game, 1 earned run outing versus the Rays, giving up 1 earned run in 4 of his last 5 starts. He has found his form again. And Mitch Keller, a guy who gives them good starts, 5 straight quality starts, actually. And then we got Pomeranz, who's going to be an opener, going up against Jake Irvin, coming off his worst start of the year, 10 hits, 6 earned runs, and 0 Ks against the Diamondbacks. And then we got Ciccone going up against Max Fried. That is a big-time mismatch there. We know how good Fried is. He did come crashing back down to earth with 6 earned runs against the best offense on the planet in the Dodgers. And then Ciccone giving up 5 home runs already in 15.1 innings. That's why you see that 2.93 home runs per 9 given up. And then Jack Leiter, the walks machine, is back on the mound. He has 2+ walks in 7 straight, 3+ in 4 of the last 7. Ryan Pepio, he has pitched 13.2 consecutive scoreless innings somehow, some way against Houston and Toronto. And then Cameron, we talked about this before, 6.1 innings or more in all 4 starts. In fact, these last 2 games, if you don't know already, is a doubleheader. One was postponed. Cameron Mikolas for game 1. And then we got Reagans versus Liberatore, a good matchup of lefties in game 2. Reagans will be making his first start in 3 weeks. He had given up 4+ earned runs in 4 of his last 5. He has been struggling this year, let's be honest. Not struggling missing bats, struggling giving up some hits and runs, though. And then Liberatore, I talked him up and how good he's been this year, and he had a stinker of a game, giving up 4 earned runs to a bad Rangers offense last time out. So that's what we got for all of the matchups. I think it's 13 games today, and now it is time for the best bets. All right, this first one takes us out to Toronto, Canada, where the Blue Jays host the Philadelphia Phillies. Phillies money line -118, Jays on the money line +100 with a total of 8 runs. And we're going right to that total. Give you the over 8 runs, -112 on FanDuel for a half unit here. I thought about a Phillies team total over bet here too, but I'm going to go over total game. So let's talk starting pitcher matchup first. We got Jesus Luzardo versus Chris Bassett. Luzardo coming off a 12 earned run performance. Absolutely horrendous. But he's been solid all season. He has been hit around lately, though. Not just that last start. Before that, he gave up 9 hits to the A's, and then the 12 hits to that Milwaukee Brewers team that just hit him around. If you don't count his start versus Colorado, because why would you? He has given up 5+ hits in 5 straight starts, 6+ hits in 4 of the last 5. So he's been hittable. Swing and miss stuff, still there, still a solid pitcher. Not here saying he's terrible or anything, but I do think that Jays can get to him for a few runs. We'll talk about their offense a little bit. And then Bassett Hound, who hates me. I lose every bet I bet on him, just FYI. But he's coming off 2 rough starts as well. At last 9 innings versus the A's and the Rays. 16 hits, 10 earned runs allowed with 4 walks. Not been pretty at all. He gave up 5 earned runs in 11.2 innings versus the Phillies last season, for what that's worth. The real problem here is he struggles versus lefties. A 321 average against and a 500 slugging, higher xFIP versus lefties as well. Overall, he's an above average pitcher, but here's the problem. He's facing a Phillies offense. You saw the success earlier that the Phillies have had off Chris Bassett. Castellanos, Schwarber, Realmuto, Trey Turner, Brandon Marsh are combined 28 for... let me say that again. They are combined 28 for 77, hitting .363. Yes, a few hitters have also not had much success, but not a ton of Ks. I'm not too worried about that. The last 3 weeks versus righties, 7th best WRC+, 9th highest slugging, 9th lowest walk rate. I expect them to bounce back from that 1-run output, but of course, like I said, Bassett struggles versus lefties. They got some lefties. Bryce Harper, Kyle Schwarber. They got a ton of guys up and down this lineup that can hit them. So now we go to the Blue Jays. Last 30 days versus lefties, 2nd highest WRC+ in the majors, 140. 2nd highest average, 6th highest slugging, 2nd highest walk rate, 2nd lowest K rate. It's been pretty good for them versus lefties. I know 3 weeks and lefties is a small sample size, but you love to see it. So I think they're going to be able to contribute here. Bullpens, both are a bit taxed, and both aren't very good anyways. Hoffman and Little were used for Toronto. Strom, Kerkering were used for Philly yesterday. Like I said, they're pretty thin bullpens right now anyways. Overall, two starting pitchers that haven't been in the best of form. Two top 10 offenses in these splits, righty-lefties. Two taxed and weaker bullpens coming off a 2-1 game. I like runs here. Give me the over 8 runs as my first best bet. All right, we're going back to an alternate team total parlay as our second best bet. Give me the Pirates under 4.5 runs and the Guardians under 4.5 runs. Like I said, minus 103 on DraftKings, half unit. Here's the summary of it before we dive in. We have two offenses that suck versus lefties, facing two of the best lefties in Max Fried and Framber Valdez. Now, let's talk Pirates under 4.5. Pirates offense versus lefties last 30 days, 7th lowest WRC plus, 5th lowest walk rate, slightly below average, and the power metrics, they've been decent with ISO power and things like that. 6th lowest on base percentage. We know they don't do a lot. In the 13 games the Pirates have faced a lefty starter, they are under 4.5 runs in 11 of those 13 starts, under a 9 straight now. Overall, under in 50 of 62 games this season of the 4.5 run total. Again, I know this line is 3.5, juice to the under. I'm taking it up to 4.5. But they're barely averaging over 3 runs per game overall this season. Some of the best hitters for Pittsburgh do struggle versus lefties. O'Neal Cruz hitting 137 with a 37.7% K rate off lefties. That's bad. If he's not going to be able to hit the top of the lineup, that really hurts his team. Brian Reynolds hitting just 250 with a 34.3% K rate off lefties. And now they got to face Framber Valdez. He's found his form again. Like I said, giving up 1 earned run exactly in 4 of his last 5. Swing and miss stuff is back. Only 7 hits allowed in his last 15 innings. He's given up 4 earned runs in his last 14 innings on the road as well. He had 2 blow-up starts earlier this year, but I trust him here. He's an elite ground ball pitcher. I think he keeps things under control. I wouldn't be surprised if he shuts them out himself. He's also a guy that eats innings. We might not need a ton of the Astros bullpen, but they're in good shape here as well. And then the Guardians team total under 4.5 runs. We cashed a Cleveland team total under versus the lefty last week pretty easily. Let's talk the Guardians offense again versus lefties. 8th lowest WRC plus, 6th lowest slugging, 8th lowest walk rate, 7th highest K rate. The last 7 lefty starters versus Cleveland. This is absolutely insane. They have pitched 43 total innings versus Cleveland and given up a total of 2 earned runs. That's just wild to me. The Guardians are loaded with lefties in their lineup. That's why facing a lefty is not easy. And who are they facing? Just the top 3 lefty in the league. Mr. Max Fried, coming off his first bad start of the entire season. He has been absolutely elite in the limiting hard contact, runs, whatever it is. Great bounce back spot here. I expect him to go 6 to 7 innings. Wouldn't be surprised if Cleveland got shut out by him, to be honest with you. I like this one. Give me the Pirates and the Guardians team totals under 4.5 runs each as my second best bet. All right, we head out to Chicago where the White Sox host the Detroit Tigers. Tigers on the money line minus 220. White Sox on the money line plus 180 with a total of 8.5 runs. We're going a little chalky here. Give me the Tigers minus 1.5 at minus 125 on DraftKings for a half unit. Yes, we're back in those Tigers that were on a little roll for us about a few weeks back. But let's talk starting pitcher matchup. Casey Mize versus Sean Burke. Casey Mize first, making his 3rd start back after an injury. Struggled a little bit, but still gave up just 4 earned runs in those 8.1 innings. It was really the Royals that got to him. 8 hits and 3 earned runs. He had 10 Ks in those 8.1 innings, so obviously the swing and miss stuff is still there. Maybe would have had more, but he was on a little bit of a pitch count. He's given up exactly 1 earned run in 5 of 9 starts. So before this injury, he was pitching really well. He has a 3 expected ERA with a 3.85 xFIP. Those are really good underlying numbers. I think this is a nice bounce back spot for him here. And then Sean Burke. He's been decent this year, like we talked about in the pitch report, but he's starting to crack a little bit, and his underlying numbers do not look good. 5.28 xFIP, that's no bueno. A 5.02 expected ERA, a low 17% K rate, a high 11.7% walk rate. Those are just not good numbers. He's faced some weak offenses lately as well. The Orioles, Rangers, who cannot hit, the Marlins, Royals, Brewers when they were struggling. He faced the Cubs in the middle of that. He gave up 7 hits and 5 earned runs. So he's had the benefit of facing some weaker offenses, and now he's facing a lefty-heavy offense. He has a bad 5.46 xFIP versus lefties. He's gotten a little bit lucky when it comes to average against, but he also has an insane 17.6% walk rate versus lefties. And again, this Tigers team is going to give out a lot of lefties. Tigers versus righties last 3 weeks, just 19th in WRC plus. Kind of a little bit of a mini slump in there for a while. They have turned the corner a little bit. They have some power versus righties though, top 15 in ISO power. This is a great bounce back spot here. We know what the Tigers can do. We've seen them do it all year. We got some wind blowing out to right field, I believe, which is going to help these lefty bats as well. Almost went with that Tigers team total over, but I like this one instead. And then White Sox back to struggling. Fourth lowest WRC plus versus righties. Third lowest slugging. I mean, I could go through all of it. It's all bad. And then bullpens. The White Sox bullpen's actually taxed, and it's absolutely awful in general. 5 guys threw 17 or more pitches for the White Sox. That's right, not the restaurant. 5 actual dudes. Tigers, Vest, Holton, and Bravia were used, and Canel just threw 7 pitches. He'll be available. I think Vest or Holton, one of those guys, only threw 1 day in the last couple days, so they should be available as well. Either way, Tigers bullpen much better. Overall, advantage as starting pitcher, advantage in the offense, advantage in the bullpen. I like the Tigers to score some runs here and win their third of these 4-game series. Give me the Tigers -1.5. That is my third and final best bet. More plays will be added, so be sure to check the pinned comments below on X and on Discord. Before we get out of here, let's check out that recap. All right, there it is. My 3 best bets so far. Over 8 runs in the Phillies and Blue Jays game for a half unit. Guardians, Pirates, team totals under 4.5 runs each, -103. That is an alternate team total. I took both from 3.5 up to 4.5, in case you're wondering. And the Tigers -1.5 at -125 on DraftKings. Thank you guys for listening. As always, let's have a great bounce back day. I know MLB can be wild, but I really do appreciate your support. If you haven't already, hit that like button. But hope you have a great Thursday, and we'll talk to you soon.